impact of INSPIRE on the national infrastructure geospatial data in Ukraine. So what is INSPIRE now? We know that this is a directive, this is a law, a set of technical regulations, but it's so developed now that now it is a whole world of its own. The nucleus of which is INSPIRE. It includes not just legislation, but also implementation, rules, monitoring, metadata, web services, and transpositions. So what have we used in our practical out of this environment of INSPIRE? Well, first of all, there is a law, and we will show how we aligned our law with the INSPIRE initiative. Second point is metadata. We also used web services, and our task for next year is to harmonize the rules of implementation of INSPIRE, to implement constantly operating system data, which should be updated on the basis of basic data, metadata, standards, and national portal and network. If we take a look at our law on the national infrastructure geospatial data, we can see that our goal is to get integrated with the international and European infrastructure of geospatial data. And in this law, there's a kind of a breakthrough provision which says that for the regulation of activities in this sphere, in case there are no technical regulations, national standards, or technical specifications, the provisions of international organization ISO may be applied, just like those of Open Geospatial Consortium and INSPIRE, which basically gives the green light for upgrading the technical and technological level of our NSDI in terms of the development of this network, and makes the data accessible and make them a basis for further interoperability. The basic data are primarily topographic data, and apart from that, the law envisions that there should be such sets of geospatial data which are fully harmonized with INSPIRE. So at the time when Ukraine accedes to the EU, or not exceeds to the EU, but nevertheless, our law states our goal to harmonize our sets of geospatial data with the relevant data of INSPIRE. Changes to 15 relevant laws have been introduced, and they introduced these 15 additions to the cadastre system. That includes the land cadastre, the forestry cadastre, and all down the line. As regards data, there is progress in legislation, even there are some outstanding problems. But as regards the data which were poorly evaluated, this is not up to the level of a modern system. So we switch from the old paradigm, from old kind of pictures, to geospatial data, which will make it possible to use the information for modeling and simulating, for the subsequent automation of managerial decisions. There are a lot of data, but they're not properly divided, and as they are combined, there will be inevitably some gaps, some irregularities, and some discrepancies, which will make it impossible to use the data. Very often, specification of geospatial data is lacking, and there are some institutional and other barriers which make this data difficult in terms of access. The level of geospatial data looks at data as 3-in-1: data per se, specifications, and metadata. Now we have to understand that if one of the components mentioned above is missing, the data will practically be unusable in our NSDI. Therefore, we talk about our own data, specifications, and metadata. And for them to have such a technical and technological level that makes it possible to make modeling and proper analysis. For this purpose, there is the general standard of Ukraine in this field, which is based on ISO 19100, with all the proper models, time models, and coverage systems, the catalogs of geospatial objects, and so on. The adherence to the norms of this standard ensures a certain high level of quality of geospatial data, which can be used for NSDI. Together with this standard, another 14 standards were adopted, which are aligned with the international ISO 19100 standards, which creates a proper environment to ensure the creation of high quality in NSDI. All this requires proper regulations, and the specifications of geospatial product, unfortunately, has not yet become a high quality product in Ukraine. We have all kinds of classifiers and so on, but specifications of geospatial product is something which is a very weak point with us. There is a standard, therefore, which aims to create the missing specifications. With the help of USAID, a training handbook was drafted, which provides detailed information about how to create geospatial data, how to ensure interoperability, how to ensure specifications and technology of modeling, and the methodology of the development of metadata. As regards the breakthrough innovations, this is primarily related to our national geo portal, which implements geo services, which makes it possible to unite the efforts of all the proper stakeholders together with the government and local self-governance bodies in order to exchange proper information in this field. We've had certain discussions whether it is reasonable first to launch a geo portal. Maybe we should first deal with geodata. But what is tricky here is that the launch of the geo portal and the inventory which is being in progress. Now, all this will show us the gaps and breaches in terms of our documentation, primarily as regards specifications and incompatibility of geodata. So the portal will show the real picture of our NSDI, and the knowledge of this picture will make it possible for us to focus our efforts on weak points. That concludes my brief presentation, and I'd like to say a few words more. It's a pleasure for me to see the faces of people I know, the Dean Stepan Voitenko, the acting Dean. They are the alumni of this university. It's a pleasure to see you, gentlemen. I'm sorry that I can't be with you physically, but I'd like to congratulate and say happy birthday to our faculty and to our university, to our department.